All right, here we go. We are live. Welcome into, is it Saturday?
It's Saturday.
I lost track of time for a second.
Yeah.
Saturday night, mostly hoops. Vibes are high right now because we are coming off back-to-back fucking bangers of games. Titans.
Yeah, great games. Vanderbilt, Nebraska was great all the way through. High Point, Arkansas, great all the way through. Great endings. I mean, obviously, Vanderbilt, Nebraska had a little bit better ending. High Point ran out of gas, but both of them delivered. I was greatly anticipating both of them. I think the TV execs were as well, which is why they were the last two games of the night, and they delivered. It was incredible, and it was much needed for a tournament that has.
No,
what do we say? What do we say? How do you describe it?
We'll talk about it is what we'll do.
It's not boring, but you know what I mean.
It's not boring. We're brought to you by Venmo tonight. Score more with the college-branded Venmo debit card. Upgrade your superfan status with special edition school designs so you can pay for your game day wings and rep your team at the same time. You can add your Venmo debit card to your mobile wallet as soon as you sign up. Pay online and in-store right from your phone. And the best part, the card is tied right to your Venmo account. Got paid back for dinner? Immediately access that money in your Venmo balance and spend on what you want. Game day snacks, tickets, new merch. You can easily split purchases in the new app. In the app, there is no monthly fee or minimum balance. Score more with college-branded Venmo debit card and get up to 5% cash back with Venmo Stash. Sign up at venmo.com/collegecard. All right. Where to begin, boys? I would say this. We earned it. We sat around. Titus, you said you were about to describe what you would say this tournament has been so far. Could you elaborate on what you mean by that? I'm happy with where we're at.
Yeah, it's left you wanting a little bit more in terms of excitement, in terms of it's a matter of opinion as to whether you want upsets or that we could debate that till we're blue in the face. Is do you want Cinderellas or do you want the good matchups later? But yeah, even no matter where you fall there, we just want close games. And there have been Rick, you had the stat last night that the 20+ point blowouts. We've never seen anything like this, and that doesn't even include games like Kansas-Cali Bap, which was a 26-point game, and then like the final margin was kind of close, but like that had the feel of a blowout too. So we just wanted exciting moments. We wanted games that had us on the edge of our seats. And Nebraska, I mean High Point, Arkansas as well, but the something about the Nebraska Vanderbilt game, I think it was the fans. I think it was Nebraska's fans. I think it was two programs that just frankly aren't here very often. Nebraska had never been here. Vanderbilt was looking to make their first Sweet 16 since 2007. It was one of those games you're watching, and I feel this way about High Point, Arkansas too, but it was one of those games you're watching where you're just like, this sucks that someone has to lose. Both teams played so well. I think, to me, Nebraska, Vanderbilt, I want to start there, if that's okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
But it's 1A, 1B, but I want to start there.
We hit a lull. It wasn't boring overall, but we hit a lull in games for a while there, and we needed a shot of life, and the two games to end the night were the shot in the arm we needed to get going.
I thought the shot making, so the final score was 74-72, but it felt like the shot making the last, I don't know, 8 to 10 minutes of this Nebraska-Vanderbilt game was absurd. Vanderbilt was getting just about any shot they wanted. Nebraska, completely shut Vanderbilt's offense down in the first 10 minutes or so. I think they had 10 points at 10 minutes into the game. But towards the end of the game, Vanderbilt was getting whatever they wanted. And Tyler Tanner was on another level playing basketball. It was like he could create for himself. He was creating for others. The ball was moving around. There's 6 seconds left in the shot clock, and the guy with the ball in his hands is stuck. But And Nebraska thinks they got him where they want him, but there's 6 seconds is plenty of time to skip past to the wide open guy and give it one more. And right as the shot clock's about to expire, they hit a three. It was just beautiful basketball where everyone on the court knew exactly how much time was left, and the shot clock knew exactly where their teammates were. I couldn't get enough of it. And then Nebraska seemed to have an answer every time Vanderbilt would hit a shot, and then finally Hoiberg says, "I've had enough." Throws a zone out there, and it's not like Vanderbilt couldn't score from that moment on, but it did feel like it slowed Vanderbilt's offense down a little bit because I thought there for a second Vanderbilt might run away with it. And Nebraska, I thought that was a stroke of genius throwing out the 1-3-1 that Nebraska threw out there. And then they'd fall back into man every so often. It would when the shot clock would get low, they just guard whoever you're with. And yeah, I thought it slowed Vanderbilt down enough. And then in the end, Sam Hoiberg makes a big tip in. Frager gets the game winner. And that shot was, the Tanner shot was
Can I ask this?
It was 99% down.
When we do name this, history, whatever, you guys are by far the two best in the gym at it. If that shot goes down, where does that rank? Because it was a round of 32 game, but also it was a 3/4 court shot, and also Nebraska's playing in their first round of 32 ever. Vanderbilt hasn't been in the Sweet 16 in 20 years. If that shot from 3/4 court goes down, is that a top 10 tournament shot of all time?
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes. Definitively.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitively. Yeah. And it was down, Tate. I think
there's a screenshot that shows it went in.
I can't prove it, but I'm just like, after the conversation we had last night about the differences in the balls,
we got to push the.
I really think if that was an NBA ball, it goes in.
That's
normal
inflation levels. That thing's a
bank down.
But if it goes in, I would be devastated for Nebraska.
Yeah.
It didn't go in, and I'm devastated for Vanderbilt. But that's how this tournament works.
I think the big winner here is Florida, I would say.
What do you mean by that?
Because they missed out on playing Vanderbilt, who has their number.
Ooh.
And I don't know how they match up with Nebraska, but I don't know. You tell me. It seems like Vanderbilt kind of had Florida's number.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, I mean, the last time they played, Vanderbilt smoked them, so that would stand to reason.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Florida plays tomorrow, so Nebraska gets to sit there and scout it. But I agree. I mean, yeah, Florida and Nebraska matchup, I do think.
What if Iowa wins and we get a corn bowl in the Sweet 16?
That excites
What if we get the corn?
That excites me.
The corn matchup.
Yeah, Nebraska has proven that they are for real. All year we've been kind of going back and forth with saying, is this team legit? They are, man. They're so scrappy, and I'm happy for GBR.
Mm-hmm. And Carol Hoiberg.
Yeah.
Shout out, Carol.
I didn't want to say it.
I'm happy for her.
But you could say it.
I'm happy for her.
She looked happy tonight.
Congrats, Carol.
Yeah, Nebraska, the offense was sputtering down the stretch of the season.
I think that was the most impressive part of the game.
And in this tournament so far, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know that they've had trouble scoring the ball. Balanced scoring, big shots made by seemingly everybody on the team.
Just well-rounded.
Just well-rounded. Yeah, I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, because I think you had star power on Vanderbilt's side. They had everyone was hitting shots for them too, but Tanner just completely took over.
Mm-hmm.
And your jaw's on the floor watching him carry this team. And then on the other side, it just felt like Nebraska was just so well-balanced, and both teams deserved to win. It was a great basketball game.
What'd you think of the atmosphere? It was the game was played in Oklahoma City. Tyler Nichols said it's going to be fun to be the villain. I would say that was huge home court advantage for Nebraska.
They travel well everywhere.
Yeah. It was, yeah. I mean, it was a home court advantage, but it's also if you want me to say Vanderbilt got screwed by the draw or something, no.
No, I'm not.
But yeah, I mean, Nebraska had a great advantage, which I think played into why that game was so fun too. I think having a feel, because oftentimes at these NCAA tournament venues, you have the neutral sort of crowd,
right.
You're doing a double header, and it's the first game's pretty good, but the second crowd hasn't arrived, or vice versa. The night game's good, but everyone in the first game bought all the tickets and then they left, and then I don't know. You just get these weird crowds at some of these early tournament games, but this crowd just felt like the entire arena was, one, cheering for Nebraska, but two, completely locked in on the game and was appreciating how good of a game it was.
Yeah, there was 15,000 people there. If that game's played in Portland, Oregon, between those two teams, still a great game, but it has just different vibes.
It has a very different vibe, yeah. So congrats to Nebraska going on to the Sweet 16. Yeah, they're playing with house money at this point.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if Florida does end up beating Iowa, how do you think Nebraska matches up with Florida?
I mean, they can slow them down. They they match up well in that they can. Florida is not exactly. I mean, Florida looked against Prairie View, obviously. They scored 1,000 points. But I think if you slow Florida down and make them play half-court offense and muck up the game a little bit, I think Nebraska, that matches up fine with them. I don't know what the theoretical line would be, but yeah, I don't think Florida is as. I'm not as high on Florida as a lot of people are, but it's not because I don't think Florida's good. It's just Florida's very beatable to me. I think Nebraska could beat them.
I think it's funny that people were high on Florida, but then they were kind of sinking down a little bit. But because Florida beat Prairie View A&M by 70 points,
it's
all of a sudden it's wait, this Florida
wait a
second.
Yeah. But no, Nebraska's defense is great. I think Hoiberg is an unbelievable coach. I mean, the fact that Dusty May had one of the great turnarounds in college basketball history and has Michigan as a 1 seed and had a historic run through the Big Ten and yada, 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 what Dusty May accomplished this year. And Fred Hoiberg was still coach of the year, and I think it was deserving. Speaks to like what he's done with this team. And I think Nebraska can beat Florida, yes. Okay. Absolutely. And I think the Sweet 16 is when – I mean, we have upsets. We're obviously going to talk about Texas-Gonzaga here in a second. We finally had a top 4 seed go down. But I think the Sweet 16 is where it could get interesting insofar as, like, you know, I still think the 1 seeds are a lot better. But, like, if you're eyeballing, like, this Arizona-Arkansas matchup, like, that looks juicy, you know. Bama, Michigan. Michigan's playing really, really well. But, like, Bama is, like – Bama's always a wild card. If Bama's hitting threes, they can beat anybody. Illinois, Houston's going to be a banger. So I think like the Sweet 16 is trending towards we're going to get, 1, great games, but 2, we might get a little bit of shakeups. Like it's not going to be – obviously we don't have like the High Point lost to Arkansas, so we don't have like the 12 seed going on to the Sweet 16. We don't have the 14 seeds going on to the Sweet 16. But I think once we get to the Sweet 16, we will get a little bit more of a shakeup. That's my prediction. I think we'll shake it up a little bit.
We'll close the page there on Nebraska Vanderbilt. If that was game 1 of the day, I would argue that 2 and 3 might be tied. We had 2 other very exciting games. I would give the nod to Arkansas High Point in terms of getting up and down and scoring in the low 90s, high 80s. Titus, what'd you learn from that one?
The Darius Auff is somehow underrated. I've underrated Darius Auff. I love him.
Crazy, man.
And I've glazed him nonstop every time we talk about him.
He might have the highest approval rating in the Barstool office history.
Yeah. I feel bad for people who comment on any clip we put out where it's not even just us saying it. There are like other shows, other people have like made this point about him being Cal's best guard. I feel bad for the people that like so violently want to disagree with that because those people have obviously not watched Darius play basketball. Like it's obviously just an emotional reaction that like I love this other guy, so I'm just going to assume that Darius if you're actually watching this man play, it is otherworldly what he's doing. 36 points tonight. Arkansas needed every single one of them. Hitting clutch shots. It was like efficient too. He was like 50% from the floor or something. Has the ball in his hands constantly. He had some turnovers, but like some dumb turnovers. But I mean, it wasn't like 100% perfect game. But like, I mean, we're picking nits at that point.
when you have that high of a usage rate, you're gonna.
He's
I don't
unreal.
think there was ever a time where I was like, oh, that's a bad shot.
Right.
Like his shot selection was unbelievable tonight. He's such a smart player for a freshman.
He only had 2 turnovers.
Bears, we watched them all.
He only had 2?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I think the 2 that he had must have been like they just stuck in my mind. He had like 2 of them that were like bad, and yeah. Well, and then I take it back. He did play damn near a perfect game.
Dana, what do you? So you're an NBA guy. People have this guy still like 8th. He's playing his way up the draft boards right now. What's your favorite part of his game? You've watched him intently 5 straight games now in these tournaments.
I've been watching him really like all season and trying to bang the drum for him. And you got to think he's starting to lap some of these guys, like whether it's Caleb Wilson. I don't know, like even Boozer maybe. I don't.
People had Keaton Wagler over him. They had Flemings over him going into this tournament.
He's just so physical and smooth and gets to the rim so easily and is in control pretty much at all times that it's like if I were a franchise in the NBA, I would be so excited to hand the keys to him and just like let him play 36, 38 minutes a game.
The in-control part stands out to me too. When he's on a fast break, he plays so fast, but he's always like in control, never making, playing out of his shoes. Definitely the part that stands out.
It reminds me a lot of AI, weirdly. I don't know if it's just the cornrows or just like the way he plays, but he kind of has that style where he's just it kind of seems like he's not trying, and then he'll just turn on the boosters and
I'm begging you, if you hear Dana say things like that, you hear me say that he's Cal's best guard that he's ever had in college. You hear all these people glazing him, and your immediate reaction is, You're a fucking idiot. You don't remember how good Derrick Rose was in college, or you don't remember.
I had to hit that point personally.
Yeah, if that is your reaction, I understand. I'm not like no one's here saying that John Wall wasn't excellent in college. He was unbelievable. He's a first-team All-American. Maybe should have won National Player of the Year if not for Evan Turner. like all of this is true. We're just saying Darius Auff is that good. You have to watch him play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable, and he's done it for how many games in a row? I mean, he's been great all season, but like as the calendars turn to March and these games become bigger and bigger for Arkansas. Not that they were on the bubble, but like Arkansas was a team that I think, like a lot of Cal's teams, they are a potential team. And you're watching all season and there are ups and downs, but like you're trying to like figure out like will they be able to pull it all together when it matters most. And I think like the way this season went for Arkansas, given the talent they have, was probably a little underwhelming, but it all like led to this moment in March where it's like everyone's pulling together in the same direction, and something special is happening with that team. I mean, they are. Like, the defense is still leaves a little bit to be desired, but, like, they are a highlight reel at all times. Auff is, I mean, as you pointed out, Rick, like, he is under control, which is super impressive because he's not just, like, getting wrapped up in, like, this idea that I'm going to go out and score 40 and just shoot a bunch and, be out of control.
It felt like a quiet 36.
Quiet 36 for a freshman
right.
in a game to go, in a close game to go to the Sweet 16. Crazy.
Titus, he's done it, though, in the past 2 games against Hawaii, who's an inferior opponent. Tonight they did it against High Point.
Yeah.
Inferior opponent. If he does it again, he'll be going up against Arizona next week.
Probably.
Arizona.
Respect to Utah State.
He'll be going up against Arizona next week. Much better defensive team. Is he still going to go by the Jaden Bradleys of the world?
Probably not. It'll be harder for him, but I think he's good enough that he'll still pop,
There's no one on that court that if Auff wanted to go by him, he didn't just go right around him.
But I mean that, like, if we're respect to Utah State, like I'm already previewing an Arizona Arkansas game, but I like Arizona to beat Arkansas because I do think Arizona has defensive answers for Arkansas that very few teams do. But no, I mean we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, what Auff's doing is unbelievable.
Let's go into the other. We had one other game that I would consider to be competitive, highly competitive at least, and that's Texas Gonzaga. We have one top 4 seed that is now out of the tournament. That's Gonzaga, but I will give they already knew Mark Titus credit.
By the way, sorry, I don't mean to I don't mean to interrupt you, but shout out High Point, by the way. Rob Martin and Fletcher were incredible tonight. And
everything you want out of a mid-major, that was High Point.
Yeah, High Point was so fun to watch.
Did you talk about him?
No.
You didn't bring him up on the mid-major report?
Who did you talk about?
I don't even remember.
Is that Winthrop? That is Winthrop.
That's Winthrop. Oh, no.
Winthrop.
Okay, but...
Oh, man.
Wait, no, I talked about both of them. I talked about both Winthrop and High Point.
I just know this High Point.
Someone DM'd me about High Point.
Dave always says it, but 2 seconds into the game, you can see this High Point team was on a different level than the other mid-major. Troy.
Yeah.
Northern Iowa.
No, I mentioned High Point, but I've focused primarily on Winthrop, which is a miss for me.
That's all right.
Yeah. Rob Martin and Cameron Fletcher had 30 and 25. They had High Point had 3 starters that like didn't score. I guess I'm looking at their box score now. A couple of them ended up getting a bucket late, but those 2 guys just carried them, and then Chase Johnson, boy, he had the one in the corner that would have been huge, rattled in and out. But anyway, I didn't mean to. We were talking about Gonzaga. I wanted to say thank you to High Point for being a sliver of a Cinderella for us this tournament. It was a very fun ride, even though it was only one win.
We got a taste. Texas Gonzaga. Texas played in Dayton in the opening round, the first 4. They are now going to the Sweet 16. I don't think the story, though, right now is Texas. Titus, you've been calling for Gonzaga's ass. And Dana, you have been as well. I think you had them as one of the most overrated teams in the country. Titus, you said they shouldn't even make the tournament. You may be
when
correct.
we were doing the Busters, I was like, my number 1 pick would have been the Texas or NC State winner, because that path was BYU, who's been struggling, and Gonzaga, who I think we all agree, just isn't really that good this year, and clearly showed it today.
I think Mark at one point said, "Get them the fuck out of my face."
Yeah,
when the Buckeyes were squarely on the bubble, and I was like in my mode where I was like, I gotta attack everyone, I gotta drag everyone down. And I took a look at Gonzaga. I lost my mind. I was like, this team is just not good. They've never really been good. I think they had like some decent non-conference wins because everyone on their team is like 30 years old, and they've all they've all played like a million years of college basketball, and they brought back a lot of dudes from last year. So when you're playing in these non-conference games and you're playing against a bunch of teams that are trying to like figure out how their pieces fit, you get a couple interesting wins. Which, like, what was even their best non-conference win? Kentucky or something? They lost by 40, literally 40 to Michigan. They lose to Portland.
Remember when Ken Pom called that the greatest game of all time?
Yeah, it was the greatest game in the history of Ken Pom.
Yeah.
Run through their non-conference.
They
beat Bama.
They beat Bama. They beat Kentucky. They beat UCLA. And then we're talking about
which, like, these are good
Oklahoma.
wins, but, like, you know, like, these are not – you should not be a top 3 seed with what they did. I mean, the loss to Portland should have told us this, you know. Like, this was – and I don't say that to poo-poo Gonzaga, and I know Gonzaga people, like, have to deal with guys in the media every time they lose in the tournament. People are like, they're frauds, they're never going to win a title, yada, yada. I believe in Gonzaga as a program. I think what Mark Few has done there is probably the most impressive building of a program in the history of this sport. Like, just given that he took like a tiny ass school in Washington that had John Stockton and nothing else, and he's now turned them into a, like, for them to be on a level where when they lose it's noteworthy. That's interesting in and of itself. Having said all that, with all my respect, through the decades of Gonzaga basketball, this team was just never special to me. They were never good. I at no point in time did I consider Gonzaga to be like a true Final Four contender. And so I'm not, like, particularly surprised. The only thing I'm surprised by is Texas is, like, pulling it together a little bit. I think Texas is getting balanced scoring. I think Texas is like, Volca Titus is suddenly, like, you know, looking like a first-round pick out there. Pope's hitting everything. Swain has been, like, he's been awesome for them all year, but he's, you know, keeping that rolling. I think Texas has more than just one or two guys. And the Traymon Mark is great for them. I think the vision has always kind of made sense on paper, and they've never been able to put it together, and they struggle down the stretch. But, yeah, obviously they're playing great basketball now. And maybe there's something – maybe we're back on the first four is actually a good thing train.
Yeah.
You know, like, win that first game, get the jitters out of the way, and away we go.
And they'll have a winnable game in the next one. They'll be going up against the winner of Miami and Purdue. So it's not like they're running into the buzzsaw.
I have a question for the room. Does Purdue have the easiest path to an Elite Eight of all time?
I want to say this. I tried to take – so I got that $10,000 free bet, and I was trying to take a future. The bet I wanted was Arizona and Purdue to make the Elite Eight, and it was paying like plus 2 something. Those two's path. Now, obviously, Arizona's going to have Arkansas.
15 seed,
and
7
Utah
seed,
State.
11 seed.
Arizona also has Utah State.
I keep forgetting that. I do keep forgetting that.
Two guards engaged to their longtime girlfriends.
I agree. Argue if you want that Purdue has an easy path to the Elite Eight, but when they get to the Final Four, they're going to play either Arizona or Arkansas or Utah State. So, you know, like, it's all good. Water's going to find its level. Like, if
you win
Purdue,
the Big Ten tournament, you earn a 2 seed. You do deserve.
If Purdue makes the Final Four,
come on, man, they're going to get an 11 seed to go to the Elite Eight.
If Purdue makes the Final Four,
that.
Rick, if they make the Final Four, it will be deserved. That's all.
To beat Arizona, yeah.
Okay.
Or Utah State.
Or Utah
State.
Cam Heide, by the way. What about the Cam Heide storyline?
Yeah.
Big time.
Heide scored 3 points for Texas. They were the 3 biggest points of the night.
Mm-hmm.
They were up 1. I think they were up 1.
They were up 1.
Pushed it to 4. And he shot clock running low. He's in the corner. Throws up 3. Hits it.
He hit that. He hit from the same spot against Houston the year before to tie that game.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dagger.
Yeah, Purdue transfer. Might have to play Purdue in the Sweet 16. There you go.
Okay, from there, I guess the next thing to do would be to just lump them all together. Michigan, St. Louis, 23-point blowout. Duke, TCU, 30-point blowout. Houston, Texas A&M, 31-point blowout.
That one we really don't need to talk about.
I'm just saying those three.
Houston was Houston's a fucking wagon right now.
Your top seeds took care of business today. I don't know. Ho-hum.
Yeah, Michigan was like, were they 50%? I think they were at one point from the 3-point line. Let me pull it up. Let me look at it.
They looked well oiled today.
They shot 48%.
48%. They were 11 for 23.
St. Louis was playing their ass off. They were playing great
they
basketball.
Great.
I'll
It was
say
still a
this.
blowout.
If Michigan goes 11 for 23 from the 3-point line, they're beating everybody.
Yeah.
They're just going to – they're going to beat everybody. And I don't know. Maybe Arizona could beat them. I don't think Duke can beat them if Michigan goes 11 for 23 from the 3-point line.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to beat Michigan. So that's kind of, I mean, St. Louis, valiant effort, but if Michigan's hitting threes, say goodnight, especially when you're a team like St. Louis that doesn't have quite the size and the length to match up with Michigan.
That is what I was going to say, though. It is easier to shoot 50% from three when you're playing against St. Louis with the lack of length, as opposed to a team like a Duke and an air. Like everyone talked about Michigan dominant until they ran into Duke. Well, Duke's defense obviously had a lot to do with that.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, they were 6 for 25 from three against Duke. So yeah, maybe it's that. But St. Louis kept it close for a little bit. But yeah, Michigan hitting threes was the story. Likewise, I thought Michigan State Louisville, that was sort of the same story. It's like Louisville is a team constructed to just shoot 10 million threes. They don't really have much of an interior presence. I thought like the big dudes played well for them actually today, and I was worried coming into the game that Michigan State is just going to eat them alive on the boards and just destroy them down low. And I thought they put up a good fight, but when you're a team that is designed to shoot a ton of threes and you're playing against a team that is designed to just like rebound everything, and not that like Michigan State is way better shooting the basketball than they were like last year and they've been in recent years.
Jackson Kohler's hitting threes now.
Jackson Kohler's hitting threes.
What's going on?
But that's still the identity of Michigan State basketball is like they're probably going to brick it and grab the offensive rebound and put it back up. And if that's the matchup, is like team that is going to try to hit a bunch of threes versus team that's like here to just play old school physical Big Ten basketball. And the old school physical Big Ten basketball team is the one that's shooting well from the 3-point line. Not a good recipe if you're the team that's supposed to be hitting the threes, because like Louisville was 3 for 19 at one point, I think, from three. I think like in the
State
first
was
half,
getting them from Cohen Carr, they were getting them from Kohler, they were getting them from Fort off the bench.
Louisville was better in the second half, but yeah, I mean it's that was the story of the two Michigan teams today for me. It was just like if you're the other team, if you're Louisville and St. Louis, you're going into these games saying like, hopefully they shoot a lot of threes and miss them. You know, like that's going to be part of our strategy, and they just didn't miss them.
Something I've kind of been noticing with Michigan State, even today, Jeremy Fears was 3 for 13 from the field, but he also had 16 assists. I think he takes a lot of bad shots. Or just
a lot of like long mid-range stuff.
If he can settle more into that, just like I won't say strictly like a passing role, but he takes a lot of shots that you're like, okay, you could have just dumped that off or let someone else take it. I think if he just settles more into, hey, I'm the point guard, I'm going to try and distribute, like they can go up a level that they are even now. So
he had like 15, 16 assists. How much more can he?
No, but he missed 10 shots. He was 3 for 13. I'm not saying he needs to pass the ball more. I'm just saying he takes a lot of dumb shots. So if we can eliminate those, they could have won by 25.
He does take dumb shots. He also like will foul bait, you know, and like flop and do that stuff. Like with the like he'll go take shots where he's like leaning into a guy and throwing it up, trying to get a call.
I'm just trying to poke holes. They played well today.
Yeah, Michigan State is I mean, if they're getting outside shooting from multiple guys like they did today,
and if they get that version of Cohen Carr where he's not just a dunker, he's crashing glass, he's making 3-point plays, he's working the post.
Yeah. Duke TCU. Can I ask the room about something? Because I saw but I didn't see. I saw the discourse. I didn't see the actual plays of note. The refs. A lot of people talking about the refs. TCU got called for 10,000 fouls, but I don't like it. That doesn't really pass the sniff test for me because that's not right. Not passing the sniff test means I think it's bullshit. It does pass the sniff test.
Passed it.
It passed the sniff test. TCU plays physical as shit. Like I'm not surprised that they had a ton of fouls called on them. That like makes sense. Duke has a size advantage, and TCU is like plays very physical defense. But I saw people like complain. Like Jamie Dixon got teed up. We were watching different games as.
I'll say this: I watched the fuck out of this game. I was watching TCU Duke. The difference in the game between what TCU did to Ohio State, they were the bullies against Ohio State. They were bullied today against Duke, in my opinion. David Punch, who I couldn't have said nicer things about. He's the one that was, hey, we're going to beat them 9 times out of 10. Here's his final stat line today. 30 minutes, 1 of 10, 2 rebounds, 4 points. That guy absolutely bullied the bigs of Ohio State. Duke's bigs bullied him all night. He got hit in the nose. He sat out. He came back in. He wasn't even going after rebounds. So you can say what you want about the refs. I know Xavier Edmonds fouled out. I know Dixon got the tee. I thought that they were the big bad bullies on the block against Ohio State, and Boozer and the boys, especially in the second half, went on that run and
I didn't
they wanted nothing to do with it.
I obviously I was watching the game, and then like Duke starts to pull away, and then I think it was Houston game. Was that the next one that tipped off? So I was like kind of trying to keep an eye on both. And at no point when I was watching Duke TCU, I mean I noticed TCU was getting a lot of fouls called on them, but like at no point was I like, man, the refs are fucking over TCU.
Impacting, yeah.
But then I saw people talking about that, and then but when you lose by 30, can you really? Well, they lose by 20.
It was
23?
44-44, and they lost 81-58.
Yeah, I mean their offense just completely disappeared. TCU's. But yeah, Gongba's back. Duke feels like a little bit of a different team defensively when he's in there.
How many minutes did he play?
And with
13
Cam having another big to just dump off to.
That's
that
it,
high-low action.
Yeah, you can't just double Cam and
Right.
say like you can't just throw another big at Cam because he's just gonna dump it off to him.
They rebounded the shit out of the ball tonight. Malik had 9 rebounds. Boozer had 11. Sar had 8, and then Ngangba comes in and gets more rebounds as well. I have zero gripe with what went down. Duke bullied them.
Shout out to Isaiah Evans, who is towing the line between like just completely reckless basketball, but also I can't get enough of it basketball. Like he was good today. He was 6 for 14 from the field, but he's a guy that like the second the ball touches his hands, you know it's going up.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also so good that it's like I guess I don't mind that it's going up. But there's some he takes like maybe 3 shots a game where I'm like, all right, buddy, like, all right, what are we doing? But then also of those 3, he probably hits 1 or 2 of them. I love watching him play, but he knows exactly where the line is between like this is very fun and this is reckless, and he just stops right at the line. He stops right at the line. But yeah, he's been great, especially as these teams are like throwing zones at Duke and trying to slow down Boozer and all that. He's realizing it's my time.
Yeah.
If I get a sliver of space, I'm letting it fly.
I think this game kind of, as a Duke doubter, just from watching them the last 10 days or so, this answered a lot of questions I had and kind of made me feel a little bit better about Duke. I think they just needed to get some shit right, and they did today. So what's their path moving forward? It'd be St. John's or
St. John's, Kansas.
That East region. And
I think both of those teams would still match up well with Duke. But yeah, I mean they looked so much better today in the last 15 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
The East is materializing, boys.
It is.
It really is.
I know we don't really go ahead.
I think any combo we get from here, I mean UCLA is kind of stands out as like the odd one there, but like
bring me Mick if I have to
get another
start
quote
Mick
today.
Cronin.
but also UCLA's playing awesome and like
What was he saying today?
Give me Mick Cronin.
You said talking about you said everyone needs to get a life, I think. Yeah.
Everybody needs to get a life, bro. Come on, man. You want to win big, but you think Coach Hurley isn't supposed to be intense, but you want to win. Come on, play the clip. I
love when he says
see how he
man.
I love when
delivers
he says bro.
because he kind of like talks out the side of his mouth sometimes, which I like. I like his.
He's like
manners.
trying to be cool.
Let me see this.
Heat from the media about kind of sideline.
What are you
demeanor.
talking about?
Oh, I love him.
Sideline demeanor.
Caught heat.
Working
Have you
officials.
given me heat?
I haven't. not
So that's why
necessarily.
you're the only guy to pay attention to.
Okay. Well,
Nobody else even comes.
National media. National media.
I mean, I respect you. Come to the games, so I respect you. You know, at least you're there. I mean, people that aren't there.
I know you don't care about it,
That's
but do
you.
you think it's fair that
Stained
you
beers.
It's ridiculous. Everybody needs to get a life, bro. Get a life, man. Come on, man. Get a life, bro. You want to win big, but you think Coach Hurley's not supposed to be intense, but you want to win. Come on, man. We're not coaching Little League, buddy. Everybody doesn't get in that.
Buddy.
You know,
buddy. He kind of
He's
Patronizing buddy really pushed that to the next level.
he has a little like Bosco in him. I don't know what it is. Something about him reminds me of Rico, and I don't know what it is.
He broed, buddied,
It's-
and man.
It's that he has a very short fuse, but you can't help but love him in the end. It's like in the end,
I think that's what it is.
he does such a good job of like just when you're ready to just be like, this guy's a fucking psycho. Get him out of my face forever. It's something happens and he wins you right back over.
and what that
You're
did,
just stuck on that cycle with Cronin and Bosco both.
like he took over the news cycle with the you're on camera. You know you're on camera. Like when that whole thing went down.
Right.
That shows me he doesn't even know that went viral. He's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean I'm catching heat?
That's
Yeah.
They're talking about me. Are you talking about
They
me?
wheeled him out for the apology in the jumpsuit.
That's a good point.
He's got his notifications muted.
I love him now.
He doesn't know what people are.
Come on, bro.
No, they just told him he
Little
needed
life,
to
bro.
apologize. He didn't know what he was apologizing for. I don't think. I think he just
Get a life, bro.
sorry if I offended you type apology.
What did you say to the reporter?
Come on, buddy.
He said,
Did you raise your voice?
you raised your voice to me. Yes, you did. You're on camera. Everyone saw it. Come on. Or I know we don't like necessarily preview games here, but
We can.
that
Let's preview
East
it.
region tomorrow, we're going back to back. St. John's, Kansas, Patino, Bill Self, which also I don't know what to say. I want to talk about that as a game, but then we go right into Mick Cronin, Dan Hurley. That has a chance to be just an all-time
Yell.
Yeah.
thoughts and
Yelling
prayers
at
to the
refs.
people, the refs in that
Oh
game.
my goodness.
What do you guys?
I'm gonna. Can I declare this a must-win for UConn?
Really?
You can do whatever you want.
I want to declare this a must-win game for you
Why so?
because I thought it'd be funny to declare an NCAA tournament game.
I like that.
No, UConn is. I've been a little critical of UConn, but I think UConn fans have also been a little critical of UConn, and the game against Furman did not inspire a ton of confidence. I just like it. I'm a broken record with this team, but they just don't have the firepower. They don't have the magic. The secret sauce. They don't have the magic touch that like the other UConn teams have, and I still sort of believe in them. I still think the defense can be good enough. I still think that like even if you have like Braylon Mullins is a guy that I thought halfway through the season I was like by the time March rolls around I'm sure he's going to develop into the lottery pick or first round talent that he's projected to be, and maybe he's going to have this rise at like not that he's as good as Acuff, but like Acuff has elevated his game, and he's like. Demonstrating that like I'm one of the dudes that's the NBA scouts are losing their minds over. I thought Mullins was going to be like that, and I thought he was going to have his little rise, and he just kind of isn't. And that's not to say he's a bad player. It's just that like when you watch UConn, it feels like that it's a roster of B plus type players, and I do think that you can go on a run in a tournament with that kind of roster makeup. But having said that, like. The teams I get excited about do have the special extra level talent, and there's nobody on this team that has that, and I'm just stuck in that weird middle ground, which is why I'm declaring this a must win, because I just like I'm desperate to see the UConn team that we thought they might be this year, and I think this would be a good opportunity because UCLA is a very good team playing great basketball right now.
You're right. It feels like something is just missing from this UConn team. I mean, they needed, 30 and 27 from Terrace Reed to beat Furman.
Crazy.
It just kind of feels like they don't have that it that they might have had in years past. So I don't have a ton of faith in them, even just against UCLA. I don't know what the spread is, but it's
4.5.
kind of like Duke. I need to see something. I need to see something in this game to like have a little bit of belief in them.
What are all those papers on your lap?
These are all brackets and
Just all paper brackets?
I'm the commissioner of a pool.
That's incredible.
I like to write out other people's brackets.
You take the red marker and cross
That's-
out the wrong ones?
Yeah, red and black.
That's
I
incredible.
keep seeing you leaf through this pile, and I'm like, is he?
Every now and then I'll go
50
check. I'll be
I
like,
love
oh, did
that,
they
yeah.
did they have UConn win?
I love the old school.
That's the best. I like seeing what everyone's working with.
Yeah.
Like one of my boys took Gonzaga to win it all.
I love to see how people abbreviate schools.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just XXX.
Before we get to Cody's roast, how do you guys see the St. John's game going down tomorrow with Kansas? Darren Peterson, big game. Kansas has been struggling. St. John's is about just as hot as you can get right now. I would say St. John's is probably
What's the spread?
It's 3.5. St. John's is favorite.
Yeah, St. John's
UConn
is favorite.
spread's only 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
A lot tighter spreads tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting closer games,
Yeah.
we should have them. I mean, like that St. John's, Kansas. I see it as a coin flip, but like I think St. John's is playing a little better right now. But Kansas has the, playing in the Big 12. They have the big game experience that I don't know if St. John's like this is the moment last year where St. John's tripped up. Is the
Who do you like in the coaching matchup? Like if you had to, because they're both. I think it's interesting when you get into that second game of the weekend. You spend all your time preparing for the first one. Tight turnaround for the second one. Who do you like as a coach?
This could end up being a legacy run for Rick Pitino. Now it's like the path is there for it to be that, and I think that this is a spot where, like last year, for example, St. John's goes up against Arkansas in the second round, and Pitino Calipari has his number, and like that just it was embarrassing, frankly. And he benches R.J. Lewis, and like it's a complete disaster. I think that like I personally I've always loved Pitino as a basketball coach. I love watching his teams. Like he's a coach that like when you're watching his teams play well, you can just see what the coaching jumps off the screen at you, if that makes sense. His teams are not good because of the individual talent, in my opinion. Through the years, it's like you can just tell that this is a well-coached team, and for that reason, like I've always been a Pitino guy. But having said that, like Bill Self is, as much as people, not everybody, but there are people out there that like to point out when Bill Self is tripped up in the NCAA tournament. He's had his problems at times. The guy is like an all-time legend, Hall of Famer for a reason. Won multiple national championships, and has just as many, way more successes than he has failures in the tournament. So, yeah, I don't really think there is a coaching advantage one way or another. I will say that like Pitino. Yeah, this is a spot last year where Pitino just in his team did not show up. And I think this team they address the problems in the offseason. They have more balanced offense. They have better shooting. And hopefully it's on display for hopefully for St. John's fans. It's on display tomorrow. But I will say that as you look at this bracket, I think St. John's has the team to do it. They are talented enough to do it. They are playing well enough to do it. And I think the way the matchups could shake out, like this could be – Pitino's already got a great legacy, but if he could take St. John's to a Final Four with this draw, which is it's very doable, I mean that's all-time shit from him.
Yeah.
To come back to college basketball, take over a program that's basically been dormant for 30 years, and get him to a Final Four by going through Kansas, Duke, and then maybe Michigan State or UConn, that would be nuts. It would be nuts. It would be insane.
I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for
my bracket.
I think game of the day tomorrow is Texas Tech Bama.
Yeah.
Last one too.
That's going to be awesome. I mean, I think Texas Tech is a team that everybody gave up on when Toppin went down, and their guard play is outrageous. They still have so much talent, and this is like, I mean, Bama's a team that overwhelms you obviously with pace and with guard play, and I think Texas Tech is like Texas Tech is one of the few teams that steps up to the challenge and says we are equipped for this. Like we will play your style, and we will play it just as well as you do. And I think it's going to be a fun game. A lot of scoring, a lot of great individual performances. Christian Anderson, LeBaron Philon. I think they'll both probably like try to get 30. Atwell will hit a ton of threes. I think it's going to be a great basketball.
Can you rant for 1 second, Titus, about the schedule tomorrow, though? Or unless you don't want to. I think it's do you know what time that game starts?
8:40.
8:45, and you're sitting here in Chicago.
9:45 Eastern on a Sunday night?
On a Sunday night.
So stupid.
There are games 7:10, 7:50, 8:45, 9:45 while we sit around in the afternoon with solo games for the first two.
I don't get it. They should just start every hour. You should start as the ref is handing the ball to the guy taking it out to start the second half. Another game should
Start the
take
next one. Or at the end of halftime.
That's how it should work.
Start at halftime.
Yeah. I don't really have much of a rant.
I just think it's bullshit. I can't believe like Central Time.
Trying to bait me, by the way. You
Yeah.
want me to do another rant?
He wants the engagement.
So you can clip it up,
Yeah.
put it out.
Piss
That is
off
numbies.
the schedule conservatives.
And there are a ton of schedule fans on Twitter.
Yeah.
He wants to go into Dave's office end of the year and
Schedule
say, "Look at all these numbies we got."
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what you
We did it as a team.
Big four, big five.
You're on your Lucas shit trying to take credit for
Get the fuck out of here. Speaking of numbies, speaking of a good show, we're gonna go to Cody here. Here's what I'm asking the chat this time. We've got 3,200 people watching.
Wow.
We got
Nice.
3,200 people watching, but we only have 40 thumbs ups on the stream. We only have 40 thumbs ups. So I'm not begging for thumbs ups. If Cody makes you laugh on this roast, you have to give a like to the stream.
Thumbs up.
That feels fair.
If Cody makes you laugh as you sit at home watching this at 1 a.m. on the East Coast, you have to like the
We're
stream.
at 40.
That's fair.
thumbsupyours.com. First porn I ever saw by accident.
Tate, we're at 40 when it started?
We're at 40 right now.
It's pop up.
All right, Cody.
I don't know if it's still running, boys, but I accidentally entered that site once.
Thumbsupyours.com.
Yeah, it was
All right.
freaky. Go ahead, Cody.
All right. Fellas, Texas is the shit the way they upset the Bulldogs.
Okay, don't like the stream.
We're down to
Do
30.
not like the
Yeah,
stream.
we're-
Do not
we
like
lost
the stream.
time.
Texas is the shit the way they upset the Bull.
Dogs.
We're losing thumbs ups.
Like bowl or bowl?
All right. The
Wait,
cream's
Texas is the shit. The way they upset the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I preface it with fellas, so it's like connecting. All right.
Fellas.
Next.
So, like, that's the.
What did we tell you
Hold on.
yesterday? You need to start with your second best, get some meat in the middle, and end with your best.
I should not have made that.
Cody, do you want to explain that one to me? Because I'm not gonna be able to go to sleep till.
That's okay.
Texas is the shit.
Titus just staring at a ceiling.
So they upset the Bull.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. The cream's run expired. I guess it won't be rising to the top.
Okay,
I get it.
that's St. Louis.
All right.
That's Robbie Avila. Yeah.
They lost to Michigan.
They lost to Michigan. Yeah.
This season.
5-seed Vanderbilt played against 4-seed Nebraska, who are one spot above them in the rankings. One spot above the Commodores. Wouldn't that make them the semicolon doors?
That one was
spot above
That's a
comma.
good. That's
A spot. I get
okay,
it. A
yeah.
spot above
Yeah.
a comma.
Yeah, I like it.
Spot, comma. That's a
That's so
semicolon.
stupid.
Yeah.
That I like it. Yeah.
Okay.
I was watching the Duke game and didn't realize there were a pair of twins on the court. Boozer and Boozer? What is this, a drunk law firm?
Dana loved it.
What is this, a new podcast for Dana and Katie?
Yeah.
There we go.
Did you write that one down, or was that off the
Oh,
cuff?
that was off the A cuff.
No. He's getting hot. He's
He made me
heating up.
laugh there.
He's heating up.
All right.
Vanderbilt and Nebraska played in front of a sold-out crowd, and Tanner had 27 points. I guess you could say it was a full house.
There we go, Cody. Get hot.
David Punch was looking rocky tonight. He went 1 for 10 from the field, and Duke delivered the knockout. I guess the Blue Devils aren't scared of TCU.
I don't get that one.
Oh, Mr. T was in the Rocky movies.
Oh, if TCU.
and he
yeah.
said Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
He said Punch.
Right. So the TC. Okay.
It would have been better if he said Mr.
Mr. TCU. Yeah. That's okay. That was good. Go
The
ahead,
bones
Cody.
were there.
Johnson was chasing a quick release once he realized he was up against Arcs and Ass.
Okay, hold on.
Ark.
Arc and Ass.
You took Arkansas and made it Arcs and Ass?
Yeah. That's the show, boy.
All right, we are
right.
not. We crossed 400 likes.
No way.
They must have loved it.
Hey, great job, Cody.
Cody, I'm stunned that you didn't have a high point pun.
More like low point, right?
Yeah. I really am. And I don't know if that speaks to
Horny ass game, high point, Arcs and Ass. All right, wrap it up.
Good night.
All right.
See you tomorrow night.
We'll be back
Are you
tomorrow.
telling yourself to wrap it up?
Arcs and Ass.